Most of the companies will become like technology companies. They will use a lot of applications, they will use a lot of data, and all of this will be supported with a lot of automation.
Partner Predictions podcast explores companies, people, and teams who push the boundaries of modern technology. Join us as we discover insights on how technology will shape our future. My name is Joonas Villanen. In this episode, we'll hear from Jan Kretz, the CEO of Nordcloud, and how they pursue and deliver value to cross-industrial customers. Jan is passionate about modern technology and, more specifically, how it will shape companies, work, and the world of tomorrow. Let's hear what Jan Kretz has to say. Before we started this interview, I asked you what drives you and what you're passionate about, and you said you're passionate about the great technology that you work with. Well, as a CEO of a big IT company, how does this relate to your work?
Well, it means for my colleagues who are more hands-on even with the technology, like a great motivation to learn more and find solutions and deploy solutions for our customers. They are able to develop their own careers and also to deliver to customers something unique and successful. I think that's it.
If you think about Nordcloud as a company and the things that were just mentioned, how does all of this translate into customer benefit?
So our strength is really that we are cloud native. So we are fully focused on services that relate to public cloud, and that's also then easy for our personnel to develop their skills around that and improve the experience that they have. It helps also when we work with the customer because customer expects exactly that from us. So it's kind of like a clear mission for us. We are here to help customers to transform their digital programs going forward, and it's easy also for our partners like Microsoft to understand what are we doing and why are we doing it.
I think every company is thriving to be a great partner, but I think you have really succeeded in this realm. Would you mind explaining what a great partnership means to you?
We work very closely with Microsoft here, and that is it's a great partnership for us. We are extremely transparent. We work jointly in order to figure out the best approach for the customer. And we also, as a matter of fact, work in a three-party way so that the customer is also part of those discussions. We're trying to set the expectations in such a way that customer really understands that what are they getting and how are they getting it and what is the impact to them once it's done. And this is very clear when we work with concepts like cloud adoption framework or within a program like Azure migration program. So customer knows what to expect and we are able to transparently show it to them as well.
Do you have a case in mind that would help us understand how all these great attributes become the customer benefit?
Yes, so let me take just a case without a name, but yeah, true customer. So customer wanted us to help them to move from their on-prem data center. They have operating systems on a end-of-life situation, and all that would have to move to Azure to get back to the support, but also at the same time reduce the cost and increase the flexibility for them. And that is exactly what we did in the whole program. We did a joint strategy with the customer for cloud. We did a assessment discovery for their environment. We ramped up the foundation for them so that they can not just migrate into, but also build within. And then finally executed in phases the different groups to be migrated. And even part of that was modernized. So it's not just a lift and shift, but also modernization. And all this was planned as part of the assessment, so that then customer knew how it would happen, when they would get different results, and what is the end goal of the whole program.
It sounds to me like the customer is getting a whole lot out of this process, and it is kind of like journey to innovation. I would like to hear a little bit more about the process of how do you get to the root cause when consulting clients?
So it's essential for us to understand what are the challenges for the customer. Sometimes they are very specific, like point challenges, and of course then it's easier if we can broaden the scope a bit and figure out also that, well, maybe there is a topic here and there. Somebody might think that that's just a way to sell more, but rather, I mean, we like to think that it's giving the customer a chance to understand the full scope, and then they can still pick and choose what they would like to achieve. So the core is to understand the customer's challenge. Our job is to come up with solutions, different options for them, and also to perhaps ensure that we're not just picking up the easiest, simplest, but then perhaps the lowest impact solution, but rather the thing that really fixes the root cause of the challenge for customer.
If I would have to imagine what does a great partner look like? A great partner for me would be somebody who challenges my views, argues with facts and statistics and experience, and offers me a great founded view of the future. Now, a question to you is, how do you nurture this sort of attitude within your company?
Well, that is a great question. It would be quite easy for us to stay at the level that, well, you asked for this, here's the solution for that only. So when we want to understand the customer's issues, the challenges that they want to solve, we always try to figure out around that as well, that have you considered this, this, and this. We would be a bad partner for the customer if we would not try to give them our best approach and really try to explain why that is the best. In the end, the customer chooses, and it's not important for us just to be able to remind them later that, hey, we did offer you this as well, and you didn't take it. So we have to ensure that we really argue properly the different scenarios for them, how to go forward, what are the options and why, and not just take a first no or maybe as an answer. But like I said, in the end, it is the customer who chooses.
Let's put the past behind us and let's jump 5 years forward. From your point of view, what does the future look like?
Well, if I talk about, first of all, the industry, and with the industry here, I don't mean perhaps just the IT, but also the digital applications and the ecosystems around that. Most of the companies will become like technology companies. They will use a lot of applications, they will use a lot of data, and all of this will be supported with a lot of automation, so that it makes things easier for them and it reduces the risk of human errors, assuming now that the applications have been also done in a proper way. But I see that the customers will become technology companies. They will increasingly need partners that provide them with certain unique solutions, but not so that you have to build them from scratch. And that's where public cloud already nowadays is great. There are ready-made services that you can select from, and you can already get a head start to something that then you can still perfect to your own ecosystem or the business process that it supports. I don't think that this is even surprising what I'm saying here, because this trend has been going on for a while, but I really think that that's going to continue and strengthen even. And the result of that is for the underlying IT industry now that I believe that the importance of public cloud and related services will become just bigger and bigger. And it's important also for the customers to be able to understand this whole concept of what's in public cloud, what can I achieve with that, even though, of course, the most important for them is how to get the benefit of any of that to their business.
I would like to hear your take on this question. Do you think that some companies are held back by the idea that ready-made solutions are not good enough, and if something would be built, it has to be built ground up to ensure the quality end result? What do you think?
I believe that there are always people who have like a natural instinct to have a disbelief of, will this work properly, and maybe I should just check it from the scratch. But it's a luxury that quite few of us can have nowadays. So because of the need for speed for the customers, the heavy competition that they are facing all the time, I doubt that many companies would really have that leisure time to say that, well, instead of taking something that has been already built and it's ready there, we could deploy it and then we can improve it, that they would go and tailor something themselves from scratch. I doubt that will really happen so often anymore, unless it's something so unique that becomes itself something completely new for the whole industry.
Now, if you think about the future and the skill sets that are required and the preparation that needs to take place, where can we start? Where do you start?
There are already methods like Cloud Adoption Framework that helps anybody to go forward and lead a journey, assuming that you still have also the experience and skills of the topics that you're implementing there. But creating or refreshing a cloud strategy with customer, I mean, that's where it starts. I mean, they get something now which becomes their bigger plan, and as part of the plan, then you go and assess the whole landscape of theirs with the different applications, workloads, and underlying infrastructures, and say that, well, what part of this should still remain as it is? Perhaps they should just sunset it and let it be. What should be killed? What should be perhaps repurposed as a software as a service, which kind of goes also to public cloud, but you take a specific solution and skip, as a matter of fact, any implementation, you just start to use software. And then comes the part where you say that let's lift and shift this, because there's a business case, I get rid of something and I get cheaper something else. Or you do a little bit of tweaking of the application so that they use certain parts in a native way of the public cloud, or you completely refactor them and those workloads become then native cloud applications because you refactor them completely. And when you have done that assessment and that plan, it's easy then for the customer to figure out that, well, I have this strategy, this is how it links to my business, and here is everything that I have in IT and business applications, and now I will go forward. I will group the things like this, and it can take from several months to several years, even depending on the landscape, and then you go and start implementing that, hopefully with a partner like us.
If you think about your day-to-day life, where do you find good information?
Well, I read, of course, a lot of different articles. There are, good sources of different findings, and not everything is always as high quality as something else. So there's a lot of, let's say, not so hardcore reading, but rather soft and almost for consumers. But there's a lot in the internet that you can find, and you can also subscribe to different information sources. One source is, of course, also our partners. So they do have also different kind of events and briefings and webinars. We at Nordcloud ourselves, we do a lot of upskilling, so we train people. So we have an enormous library of trainings ourselves that we do for customers and for us.
Here's my last question to you, Jan. The world is in a constant change, right? What is the one thing that you keep reminding yourself when moving forward?
I very often remind myself, and I hopefully also remind my colleagues in a positive way, about our mission to help the customers to transform, leading the way for them to achieve a certain digital agenda of theirs, and using the best technology that we see nowadays, which is public cloud. To simplify the things to myself and my colleagues, it is that, hey, we need to have such a process, such a tooling, and always try to automate as much as possible, so that the end result of that is sustainable for our customers. And we always can build upon the previous exercise that we have done. And that also develops ourselves, not just the people, but also the processes and tooling that we do. But the key word is automation. That's what we do. That's the cloud native way. Automate and remember to be agile.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Jan, for your insights. If anything to take away from this, it's cloud and automation is the future. Thank you so much, Jan, for this podcast interview.
Thank you very much.